Bitcoin. There's no arguing its popularity, but right now we are waiting on the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, to decide whether Bitcoin is about to become an ETF. Okay, so let's get straight to the point. Bitcoin as an ETF, will it happen? Well, right now we are waiting on the response from the SEC to decide whether they're going to approve Bitcoin to be able to be trading as an ETF. Now, what does this mean? What will the future life of Bitcoin? How will it affect other investments and commodities? We're going to get straight to it in this video. So first of all, I want to explain what is it. What is a Bitcoin Future Exchange Traded Fund, ETF? An investment company creates a subsidiary that acts as a commodity pool. The pool in turn trades Bitcoin futures contracts, typically in an effort to mimic the spot price of Bitcoin. But there are costs involved like roll premiums and management fees, among others. So essentially what we're hearing is Bitcoin is trying to be approved to become an ETF, similar to an S&P 500 or the FTSE 100, an ETF index fund. Essentially it's going to track the price movement of Bitcoin, specifically the spot price. Now, right now, the Security Exchange Commission are deciding whether to approve this, and it's a massive deal. Right now, there has been some false tweets going out on Twitter, which has affected the price of Bitcoin. Right now, it's sitting at £35,706, but it is down 1.58% because of these rumoured tweets saying that the SEC has already approved it, which is currently false because we're still waiting on confirmation. Now, by no means am I an expert at all on Bitcoin, but this is just some news and information that I thought is detrimentally important to the investment community. And being someone that wants to add Bitcoin to my investment portfolio in 2024, I found this topic not only really fascinating, but really important to cover. Now, when some of you might hear an ETF, you'll think of the S&P 500, the FTSE 100, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq. You think long-term, low-risk, fantastic investment. But something really important to remember is just because it's an ETF, it doesn't mean there's no risk. After all, it's going to be following the spot price of Bitcoin if it gets approved. And of course, anything can happen to the Bitcoin price. It can rocket up, it can rocket down. So there is absolutely risk still to this as an investment, but it is of course very, very motivating to see it as an ETF. I, after all, do use ETF index funds, and I would love to see it on the platform that I use to invest in. It would make it not only a lot easier for me to invest in Bitcoin, it would mean my investments of index funds are in the same place. And being that it's on a platform that I already use and I trust, I'd feel a lot more comfortable putting an investment into Bitcoin if it was an ETF that tracks the spot price of Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin worth it? It's a good question. I think a lot of you will be saying yes, and some of you will be saying no. For me, I don't know enough about Bitcoin. That's the honest truth. I know it's been around for years now, and I know it's at a very, very high price, sitting at £35,000 for one Bitcoin. It's hard to argue that that is a really attractive figure. So for me personally, I am going to be investing in Bitcoin in 2024, but I'm going to be doing it on a set and forget strategy. I'm going to be investing X amount of British sterling pounds into Bitcoin, and I'm going to be setting that and forgetting about it. That's going to be one of my more, what I will consider, riskier parts of my portfolio. And the reason why I want to invest in Bitcoin is because I personally believe that there is so much surrounding Bitcoin as an investment, as a commodity. It's hard to ignore, and it's almost hard to justify not having it in your portfolio. And for me, I'd much rather invest an amount I'm comfortable with and potentially lose that money, because I'd hate to think in 5 to 10 years that I could have potentially 5 or 10x or even 20 to 50x my money on my investment. So I'd much rather put an investment in that I can afford to lose on a set and forget strategy and hope that Bitcoin continues to do big things in the future. And as we see right now, it is doing big things. The fact that Bitcoin is even considered to becoming an ETF is a massive, massive deal. One of the biggest deals for Bitcoin that I've ever personally heard of. And I think it brings a lot of investors that wouldn't normally ever consider Bitcoin into possibly considering it. Because for me, I love ETFs, I love index funds, I love the way that index funds and ETFs track price movements of a fund. And for me, that's essentially what this Bitcoin ETF will do. Now, is this Bitcoin ETF good or is it bad? Listen, like I said, I think it's good. I think it can only do good things for Bitcoin. I think it can make it a lot more accessible, a lot easier for people to invest in, and possibly make people feel more comfortable. However, I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why some of you may not be in favour of it having an ETF, which will follow the spot price of Bitcoin. But as I say, right now, it's still waiting from approval from the SEC. As we know, Bitcoin is massively predicted to go much, much higher in the future. There is a halving this year, meaning that the mining will be cut in half to reduce the coins made for Bitcoin. So a lot of people are saying when that mining cut happens, which will reduce the new coins being made, that's going to increase the price of Bitcoin dramatically. And listen, I agree with that statement. I do think that a halving would increase the price. I don't see why it wouldn't. So for me, Bitcoin becoming an ETF, I think it's an extremely exciting possibility that we're waiting for approval on from the SEC. I think that it's something I would like to see for sure. I would love to see it on my trading platform where I invest in my other index funds and ETFs. I think it would make it accessible, fun, and it would make me feel more comfortable. And I think that's the same for a lot of people. What will the ETF do for the price of Bitcoin though? I think it will make it go up. I really do think that would increase the value of Bitcoin because it has more value to it as a coin, as a commodity. So I think it only brings good things. Do I think the SEC will approve it? I don't know. There's a lot of regulations, rules, and I know that governments are not fans of Bitcoins and CBDCs, I mean, cryptocurrencies. That's why they're creating their own government-backed CBDCs like the Bitcoin that the United Kingdom Bank is looking at making. So I think that they're aware of the value and money that can be made in Bitcoin, but the parameters around its ability to be tracked and to be taxed, they're not a fan of. So I don't know if the SEC will approve it to go ahead for an ETF, but I honestly hope they do because I'd love to see it. I really would. So that's my conclusion on the Bitcoin ETF. Will it happen? I don't know. That's a question that is left with the SEC. Will it increase the price if it does happen? Yes, I think it will. I think it will only have positive effects. But for sure, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. There's plenty of other content creators out there who will have their own thoughts and will have a lot more information than me. After all, I'm no expert at all on Bitcoin. I'm just someone who's trying to stick with the trend of it to see if I can make a smart investment to add it into my portfolio. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It's been a great one to talk about and a great one to film. And I look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. Bye-bye, guys. Okay, so thank you so much for watching till the end of the episode. If you're still here, well, thank you. I really appreciate your time. I wanted to let you know about the perks of becoming a channel member here on Future Investments. Very, very soon, I'm going to be giving away these gold backs, these New Hampshire 24 karat 1/1000th ounce American gold backs. I absolutely love them. I think they're stunning. Our very first winner on one of these last month, and that could be you on the 15th of January this month and every single month. All you've got to do is click the join button below on this video and you can become a channel member. Not only do you get priority reply to comments, behind the scenes exclusive content, you get your channel linked in the description of every single video, and you get automatic entry into gold and silver prizes every single month as an automatic entry for being a member. So thanks very much. I hope to see you in the Premium Future Investors Club. It's a great club and I look forward to seeing you there.